Well, I got a day off work today, so I went up in the loft this morning to put a few radios into storage and to revisit a couple of old friends. Now, this is a Dynatron Atlantis from about 1966, very premium end radio, and I'm going to take a look at it. It was never in 100% mint condition. These knobs are wrong on it, and in fact that one's starting to break down already, but everything else is absolutely fine on it really. I did refinish it. I probably worked on this about 10 years ago, I would think, and probably used it for a while, and then up into storage it went. So I'm just going to have a revisit of the work I did then, and just to see if it still works. Now, as I say, they're very premium end radios, and much like the Hacker Sovereign, there's a Sovereign here, so you can see they're roughly the same size. The Atlantis is a little bit wider and the Sovereign's a little bit taller. But the Dynatron Atlantis is in no way as serviceable as the Hacker Sovereign. It's a little bit more valve setty with lots of wires going everywhere and everything. And I'll flip the back down, we can have a look. So the cabinet is solid teak, I believe. They did do a rosewood version, and I think I might have a rosewood version down here. I'm never sure whether this is teak or rosewood, this one. This one's in far worse condition, but underneath all the grime you can see it's a much lighter wood, so I'm not sure if this is rosewood and it's teak. Anyway, so we'll just flip the back down and have a look. As you can see, you're immediately faced by a PCB, whereas in the Sovereign this is the other way around, with the waveband switches at the front of the set. So much more fun. I've already loosened the screws off it, and all you can do is take the knobs off, loosen the dial face here, and there's 4 nuts inside on each corner that hold it. I'll put the dial face somewhere safe. So that's what you're met with once you take the dial face off. And there's a screw under the aerial here you need to remove, and then the set just falls out. Now there's a flywheel at the back here, which I'll just flywheel so that you can't lift it over this, so you have to slide it out and then lift up. And as you can see, nothing like the Hacker Sovereigns. Now I'm just going to review my work. I did put AF126s by the look of it in it, but I've left an AF117, get a pointy thing, I've left an AF117 in the FM section because I probably wasn't confident of my soldering skills all those years ago and stuff, so that's going to have to come out, and I'm going to replace all the capacitors in it. And some of the grease around the tuning has gone a bit hard, so that needs to be repaired as well. That's freeing up the more I use it, but I can feel, sorry, you can see it's feeling a bit graunchy. The set's equipped with twin speakers here. I don't know why they did that, probably because of space inside. Seems a bit of an odd way to do things, especially as they're not quite central either. I don't know why they've done that. And you've got an amplifier here, and instead of the 5-pin Hacker plug, they've used a valve socket and this connection here. The amplifier itself, I think, will need recapping, and I see there's a Celestion sticker from the back of that speaker down there, and this has got twin outputs on this. Let me just move the camera forward so you can see down into the amplifier. You can see it's got a twin set in the copper holders here. It's got twin output, or two outputs here, output pairs. So very interesting set, not made to be serviced in the same way as Hacker Sovereigns are, but I'm going to take a look over and just check my work over and give it a good old service. Right, one of the less annoying things about this radio is that it's missing a pin, and I'm sure I did do one all those years ago. The handle itself is quite weighty because of the wood on top here, and without that pin the handle just slams over and dents the wood. So it looks as if it's a bit loose anyway, so I'm just needing to make another pin because I can't stand that anymore. So all I'm going to do is just get a bit of aluminium tubing and a Stanley knife, and we're just going to make a little pin and stick it in. And I shall hammer that in. Just squeeze the end down and just hammer that in. Right, let's have a closer look at this board. And much like Hacker, Dynatron seem to have brought in components from Germany, like this tuning capacitor here, and possibly these IFTs, and also the knobs. I don't know why they did that. Probably things were, you know, made in bulk over there, and they could get them a little bit cheaper. Now the board I'm interested in is this one here, and it's got an AF116 on it, and I probably lacked the courage to get that out back in the day, but that's going to have to come out today. It seems to have two screws holding it in, and as it's part of the FM board, you don't really want to touch any of the component placing. If you look, there's a ferrite adjustment coil there. You don't really want to move that and touch that, nor this one here, because FM tuning is very easy to ruin and very hard to get back. And just looking over my previous work, it's not too bad. There's just one little bit of dodginess here where I've connected the screen lead in, and I've used AF126 or 127 in here back in the days when they were cheap and you could still find them, and I've still got 3 or 4 or 5 left. So this board's got to come out, and I should be getting on with that. It looks like a bit of a manoeuvre to get that out, but out it must come. Right, the board's out, and this is where you start to get a little bit annoyed, because the board's actually mounted on standoffs which fall out, so I've got to do some twiddle twerking and try and get that back in, along with the mounting screw. That's going to be fun, and also the advantages of having a very long screwdriver to get right the way down to get a good angle on undoing the screw, and also a decent pair of tweezers just to get in there. So I'm going to get the soldering iron warmed up, and then we're going to extract the AF116 that's in there. Right, the transistor's out. Getting it out was a problem, and I've broken one connection off here, so I'll have to find out where that goes. luckily I have got that second set, which will make things much easier than having to search through the circuit diagram and finding out where it goes. But that's the problem of not a well designed bit of gear. You'd think that would be easier to get to, but no, really quite tough. I hope I haven't broken off anything. Now luckily the board's marked. Thank you Dynatron. And I'm going to replace that transistor now with an AF126, 127, whatever I've got left. Right, let's have a look amongst the piles of transistor and silicon goodness. Tektronix fuses. Right, what we've got here? We've got two N3904s, NPN, no good. Got BF450s of silicon. 78L09, 9-volt regulators. 78L05, 9-volt regulators. 78L05s. Two SA1015s. And here we go. So I've got four, what are these? AF125s, AF127s, four left. It's like a night out with the missus there. And down here we've got loads of Russian, so maybe 100, the GT332s. Probably another night out with the missus there as well. There's all sorts in here. BC108s, 557s, 213s, MPF 102s. They're getting quite rare and hard to come by now, and I've just dropped a pile of transistors on the floor. Never mind. And then here we've got the pile of death. AF117s, what are these? There's all sorts here, look, what's that? All sorts that I've pulled out. There's some quite old transistors in here, let me just show you. It's old STC transistor. And there's a really old one here. There's one of the first transistors ever made here, which is a Philco. I'm trying to get it out without damaging it. Right. It's one of the first commercially available transistors. Made by Philco. And there's all sorts of old stuff in here, some really early ones. That I've found. Another STC one there. Actually, let's put them in the pile of old. And here somewhere there's a pile, yeah, there we go. In that bit, that's where I keep all the dead AF117s in there. 116s, 117s, 117s. So loads of old junk. Right, well I changed that FM transistor and the set's working thankfully. There's one left inside the actual can. The set's working absolutely perfectly. I think I'm going to leave it. Next is the amp boards coming out and getting recapping completely. And there's a few very crusty looking electrolytics on the PCB, which I'll do as well.